Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep video. I'm going to show you two different meals that I'll have for either lunches or dinners. And then I also threw together, which was supposed to be like a pancake. I was going to make pancakes, and then I decided to do a pancake bake because y'all know I have very little patience, so I wanted to do something all in one pan. And then it kind of turned into where I think it's going to be more of a dessert type thing. So I'll show you that, and then I did do just some other prepping some spaghetti squash for a dinner recipe later in the week, and also made some hard-boiled eggs. Let's go ahead and start with the spaghetti squash. So I had one of you guys tell me that I should cut it in rounds like this because it cooks faster and it's easier to scoop everything out. The strands come out longer, so I took your guys' advice. So I went and just cut them all in rounds, took the insides out. Now I'm using the roasted garlic salt from Kinder and the blend from Kinder, and also some cooking spray. So I just sprayed each side and seasoned each side. So I just sprayed them all, put the seasoning on there, flipped them over, sprayed it again, put the seasoning on there. And now these are going to go into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes, flip them, and then put them in there for another 15. Now it could vary with your oven. I probably could have cooked mine a little bit longer because as I was kind of taking them apart, they're not quite as stringy as I wanted them, but I know sometimes the squashes can be that way. But when I make this I'm going to make a taco bake out of this. So when I do that, I will just string it up a little bit more. But for now, I'm just trying to get the rind off of there and just trying to kind of scoop all that flesh out. And then, like I said, at least this is ready to go for the night that I want to make the taco bake for dinner. This is a big part of it that is already done when I get home from work. So there's my spaghetti squash. And like I said, I will shred it up a little bit more on the day that I use it. Now we're going to make an enchilada pasta that I found on Pinterest. Now I'm going to link the original recipe down below because I did change the measurements to only make 2 servings because I want to have, I'm the only one eating this. So the things you need are chicken, you need some jalapenos, some corn, some red onion, cilantro, lime juice, plain non-fat Greek yogurt, black beans, and enchilada sauce. So first up, you're going to put your non-fat yogurt, or you could use sour cream. The original recipe uses sour cream. I'm just using plain non-fat Greek yogurt, putting in some of that enchilada sauce, and then putting in some lime juice. Again, I'm not going to tell you the measurements because I did measurements to make 2 servings. So I will have the original recipe linked down below. Now you want to go ahead and whisk this all together. In the meantime, I forgot to show you guys, I forgot to do a clip of me cooking my chicken. I went and just cut all my chicken up, put it into the air fryer, and cooking that for the 2 recipes that I'm using that chicken for, that you guys will see. I prefer to put it in the air fryer. It just cooks faster. I like that grilled texture. For this recipe, I did use the Kinder's taco blend. So I put some of that on half of the chicken and threw that in the air fryer. And I just cooked my chicken at 400 for about 15 minutes or so and just kind of flip them over. I also cooked the pasta. So the pasta, I just did 4 ounces of pasta, dry pasta, went ahead and cooked it. So that could be 2 servings. I have the chicken in there that's already cooked. I'm adding in some pickled jalapenos, or you could use fresh jalapenos. I think the recipe calls for fresh jalapenos. I did a full can of black beans, which is what the original recipe calls for. I prefer extra black beans in mine. And I just did a half of a cup of corn. And I'm just kind of sprinkling in the red onion, and then we are going to add also in some cilantro. So of course, if you don't like cilantro, leave it out. I know sometimes some people do not like it. I cannot remember if the recipe called for it. It just sounded good to me to have cilantro in there. And then we're going to add in that mixture with the enchilada sauce, lime juice, and the yogurt. Again, the original recipe calls for sour cream, so you could use sour cream in that, but I use the plain non-fat Greek yogurt for everything, plus it just adds in that little bit of extra protein in there, and every little gram of protein adds up, right? These are just little ways that you can get extra protein in there. So I'm just going to mix this up really well. The recipe that I found this on, the recipe blog that I found this on, it actually has you eat this cold, which I think would be really good. I think it would be good cold. But I also feel like you could just heat it up. I don't see why you would not be able to heat it up. But it is interesting that it says to refrigerate it for an hour before eating. So I don't know. I mean, go ahead and do it either way. But that's why this makes such a good meal prep meal, because you can have it cold if you don't have a way to warm up your meals at your office. We have a microwave, so I can do that easily. I'm also going to add on some of this queso sauce on top. I added just a drizzle of enchilada sauce, and then I added just like a half of a tablespoon of this queso sauce on top. And here is the finished product. It just smells so good. I tasted one little noodle, and that lime juice, yogurt, enchilada sauce mixture is really, really good. So highly recommend this. It's turned out really, really well. The next option I'm going to have for lunches or dinners is going to be a fried cauliflower rice with chicken. So you need some bell pepper, some chicken, peas and carrots, green beans, cauliflower rice, some sriracha if you like sriracha, sesame oil, and then liquid aminos, which you can also use soy sauce. You can use coconut aminos. I have like a bad kind of like, my body does not like soy sauce very well, so I usually use liquid aminos or coconut aminos in place of soy sauce. So the first thing we're going to do is add in some of that red pepper. I did about a half of a large red bell pepper, and we're also going to add in just all the veggies. So we're going to add in that rice cauliflower. We're going to add in the green beans and the peas and carrots. Now, if you want to have a little less moisture in this, you could go ahead and cook your cauliflower ahead of time and just put it in there cooked. You like put it in the microwave if it's a microwave bag. However, I cook mine for a really long time, so that way it just really draws all that moisture out and it just cooks within it. So you really don't need to, as long as you just cook it for long enough. So that's what I do. I just kind of mix all this up and I just let it sit on low for a long time until the veggies are all kind of nice and softened and not frozen anymore, and there's just not much moisture left in the dish. This is such a really, obviously lots of veggies, and it's just so good. And this is one way that I really feel like you could have cauliflower rice and you're not going to really notice it's cauliflower rice, because you have so many veggies in there, and then we're going to add in a ton of other stuff in there with that sriracha. It adds so much flavor. So we're going to add some of the blend in there from Kinder's. You guys know this is my favorite seasoning. I'm going to Costco next weekend, and I'm going to pick up another big one. I have one in my cabinet, but I go through this. I use it for everything, like absolutely everything. So highly recommend that seasoning if you like, if you use, especially if you use salt, pepper, garlic in all of your stuff. It's already all together for you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, we're going to put some liquid aminos in there, and I will be completely honest that I don't measure this. I just kind of toss it in there. And I don't know why. I know this is made from soy protein, and I don't know why this stuff does not have the same reaction that soy sauce does for me. So let me know if you know why. Do you know why soy sauce kind of makes me feel kind of yucky, but the liquid aminos and coconut aminos do not? And I know they have soy protein in them. Well, I don't know about coconut aminos, but I know this does. And we're going to add some sriracha in there. If you don't like sriracha, then don't put that in there, but I don't know what else you would put in place to kind of have some extra flavor. Maybe just any kind of hot sauce or something. I don't know. And I'm going to put in, well, I wanted a full tablespoon of it, but I am out of sesame oil, as you can see. This was all I could get in there was probably about 3/4 of a tablespoon instead of a full tablespoon. Don't skip the sesame oil. It's a little bit higher points, a little bit more calories, a little bit more fat, but it is key in this recipe, so don't skip it. Now we're going to add in that chicken that I cooked in the air fryer. I'm sorry, my camera angle on this is kind of bad. I meant to put my camera on the other side so my hand wouldn't be like right there. Usually I do, as you guys know, but I wasn't even thinking. It's early, and it was time change yesterday, and yeah, I went to bed way too late. We're going to add in some green onions. Again, I think these green onions are also key to this recipe. I love the taste of them, and I like to put them at the end. And then that way they are, they kind of still have that fresh green onion taste. And sometimes I will also only put half the amount of sesame oil in there, and then I finish it off with sesame oil because I do love the taste of that. So you can do that too. Maybe put a half a tablespoon in, and then do the other half a tablespoon when you put the green onions in. That way you still have that flavor. But here you go. I added more sriracha on top because you all know I like that spicy stuff. Next up, we are going to make a recipe that started off as just making pancakes, but I was so tired by the end of this that I was just done. I wanted to do something that was like a pancake bake. So this is what I did. I have the Kodiak Baking mix that I found this at grocery outlet. This is birthday cake flavor. It was only $2.99, so I'm like, hey, I'm going to pick this up and try it out. So you're going to need 2 cups of the baking mix. You're going to need 2 eggs. some sort of almond milk, fat-free milk, whatever you want to use. I'm doing 3/4 of a cup of that. I have this toasted coconut almond milk was in my fridge. We're going to do almond extract instead of vanilla, but you can definitely do vanilla, but I really like the flavor of almond extract in baking. I love it like in cookies. But definitely use vanilla if that's all you have. And then kind of the start of this recipe, the whole reason why I wanted to make this was because I wanted to show you that you could use cottage cheese in place of anything that calls for like sour cream, plain non-fat Greek yogurt, any of those like creamy type things in recipes that you're blending up. I know cottage cheese is not a favorite amongst people, but it is really high in protein. So if it's something that you don't like to eat, you could use this fat-free kind, and it's cheaper. That's why I wanted to talk about this, because it is a more economical way to use something that may call for like plain non-fat Greek yogurt in it for like that extra protein, or just, you know, less fat and all of that. And when you blend it up in a recipe, you cannot taste that it is cottage cheese, but it is so much cheaper. So this container of cottage cheese cost me $1.19. A container of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, the cheapest kind I can find is the store brand kind, and it is $4.99. Now it's a little bit bigger container, but still, cottage cheese is so much more economical. And believe me, when you blend it up in like an Alfredo sauce, in like a baking thing like this, you do not know it's cottage cheese, and you're still getting that extra dose of protein. In a serving of cottage cheese, you're getting like 13 grams of protein. Now there is 18 grams of protein usually typically in plain non-fat Greek yogurt, but this is just more of an economical way to make it. So in my blender cup here, I'm putting the 2 cups of baking mix. I'm adding in that 1/2 cup of the fat-free cottage cheese. Also, fat-free cottage cheese is 0 points on Weight Watchers, and it will be on the new Weight Watchers program too. We're going to do 2 eggs in here. Had trouble opening my eggs. They did not want to open. And then we're also going to add in our milk. Again, you could use almond milk, skim milk, fat-free 1/2 and 1/2. I just had an open container of that toasted coconut almond milk, which I love, by the way. It is so good. And then we're going to add in that almond extract. And again, you could use vanilla extract, but if you have not tried almond extract in recipes, highly recommend it. I got this for free as a free gift from Thrive Market, so I'm so glad I did because it tasted so good in this recipe. Then we're just going to blend this up. Again, you could use a mixer for this. For me, I love to use my blender cup for these types of things. And now I have some parchment paper I sprayed with cooking spray, and we're just going to pour this in here. Now I'm using my funky shaped pan that I got last year at Marshall's around the holiday time. I want to say it's like maybe a 4 by 10, I don't know. It's not very big, but you could just use your parchment paper, spread it around in there, and then this is going to go into a 375-degree oven for about 15-20 minutes. I set my timer for 15 minutes because I know my oven seems to be cooking kind of hot lately. So I did 15 minutes and it came out perfect. Now, how am I going to eat these? I have a couple of different ways. I have some nuts and more coming from Amazon. I've been really wanting to try it. I have not tried nuts and more before. I've tried like Nutso, and that's the only like kind of, I don't know, gourmet peanut butter type thing I've tried. So I thought this would be really good, maybe with some of that on top, or just eating it. Like I just had a square of this after I was done making it just so I could try it. And you guys, it is so, so good. Now, I have to admit, I have not put it in my tracker yet, so I have no idea how many points and calories this is. I'd put it into 8 servings, so we'll see. It may end up being a little bit higher point, higher calorie snack, but you know what? If we can fit it in our day, plus you could cut it down to more servings. Again, I just did 8. But maybe if you did 12 or something like that, maybe it would be a lot better. But again, I haven't thrown it in my tracker yet, but you will see here on the screen what it ends up coming out to. I also made some hard-boiled eggs, so I like to use my pressure cooker to make eggs. I just put them, do the 5-5-5 method. So I put them on the 5 minutes on steam. And then once the 5 minutes is up and it goes back to like keep warm, where it's like natural releasing, I let that sit there for 5 minutes. And then I put them into an ice bath for at least 5 minutes. But to be honest, ends up sitting there for the rest of the meal prep. And then that way I know they're nice and cooled off. Now I had planned on making egg salad with this. As you can kind of maybe see there in the background, I have some egg salad ingredients sitting there. However, as I was peeling my eggs, I was thinking that instead of making it all into egg salad, which I planned on doing like half egg salad, half hard-boiled eggs, But then I thought I like the option of either having hard-boiled eggs, or I could cut the eggs up and put them like on avocado toast or something. Or I could make a quick egg salad. I mean, you really don't need to make the egg salad. Egg salad is so quick and easy. Like I could literally make it in like 5 minutes at lunchtime or something, or in the morning before I leave for work. If I knew I wanted some for lunch, I could just make it up real quick and then it's there when I get home for lunch. But it's just, I just figured I wanted to have those options. So instead of making an egg salad, I decided to just keep them whole and just have some hard-boiled eggs in my refrigerator for a snack. Now, eggs are something that is such a cheap, affordable way to get your protein in. And you don't have to buy like those really high quality eggs. Right now, as you guys have seen in my grocery hauls, I'm not buying those eggs right now because I'm on a budget and I'm just eating the regular old white eggs. So I know I've been getting a ton of questions like, you know, what are some cheap ways of getting extra protein in? So I am kind of working on a video for that where I can talk about how I'm trying to get my protein in, plus keeping it within my budget, or just getting protein in general, because I know a lot of people just have trouble getting their protein in. So I'm kind of working on a video for that, so stay tuned for that. It's coming in the next few weeks. I may save it to do it during Vlogmas, because I am trying to come up with some videos for that, so it may be some far out, but and after, maybe after, be better to do anyway after we know how the new Weight Watchers program is going to work, because then we'll have some more information. So anyway, I have a whole dozen here of hard-boiled eggs that I can do whatever I want with, and it's, like I said, it's just a nice, easy, quick and easy way to get some extra protein in. So there you go, guys. There is my meal prep for this week. All of the recipes will be linked down below in the description box, so check that out. And thank you guys, as always, so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.